Hello and welcome to 7 Super Series. I'm Ben from the Bonehead podcast and this is the League Preview. Seven Super Series is our escalation league for the best way to play Blood Bowl Sevens. Sevens is a fast play variant with a smaller pitch, smaller teams, shorter halves, but bigger gameplay. We've got 5 teams facing off against each other across 10 weeks, then we'll take the top 4 teams and through a series of knockout playoff games, determine the 7 Super Series 3 champion. This is an escalation league, so no permanent injuries, and before each game a team plays, they will receive a single skill depending on their team tier. So 7 Super Series is back. This is Season 3, technically Season 4, I don't know, but it's our first season in Blood Bowl 2020. We've done the Bonehead Championship. We'll come back to that, don't worry. But we're back where we belong, playing a bunch of sevens. Now, we've got 5 teams for you, and like I said, across 10 rounds, they'll be playing games. And the top 4 at the end of those 10 regular season games will go through to our knockout, basically. The top 4 will go to the playoffs, and they'll play each other, and then we'll end up with a Series 3 champion. Now, these are the teams that we are being blessed with this season. We've got a Khorne team, we've got an Elven Union team, we've got Underworld, Undead, and Ogres. Let's have a look at the teams. First up, we have the Loathen Legion, our Elven Union team. This team has been put together and beautifully painted by Bloodtithe Ben himself. This formed the focus of the light team for the colleges when we played Dungeon Bowl, and he's basically finished it off so we can run it in our sevens team. The Loathen Legion has got 2 Elven Blitzers, 1 Elven Thrower, 1 Elven Catcher, and 3 Line Elves. That comes in at 585 gold pieces. So 7 players, but 2 of those Blodgestep pieces, 1 of the potentially best throwers in the game, and the Elven Catcher, who is not too shabby. This is a tier 2 team, which means the first round they'll have a primary, second round a secondary, third primary, fourth secondary, and fifth primary. Next up, we've got the Carroburg Carrion. This is our Undead team and has been painted by Milton. We've got 2 White Blitzers, 2 Ghoul Runners, a Zombie, and 2 Skeletons. Now, this team also has managed to sneak a reroll in there. Comes to 590k, and the Carroburg Carrion team, being tier 1, gets primary, secondary for the third game, primary to wrap up the season. The Undercity Warpfires are our Underworld team for this season. This team has been painted by Ian Warhammer in a cool kind of black and white scheme with some lightning green in there. Now, in the Underworld team, we've got 1 Rat Ogre, 1 Skaven Blitzer, 1 Skaven Thrower, the best thrower in the game. We've got a Gutter Runner and 3 Goblins, takes it to 7 players on this team. But that's not all. This team has also got an assistant coach and 1 Desperate Measure. The Desperate Measures are a really cool new feature for 7, so very excited to show this off. This team comes in bang on 600k, and being tier 1 gets primary, secondary for the third game, primary to finish the season. Teams in this season painted by Ian Warhammer, and this is the other one. This is our Ogre team, our tier 3 team for this league. We've got 1 Runt Punter, 2 Ogre Blockers, 8 Noblar Heroes, so that's 11 players on this roster. It comes in at 595 because there was enough cash also for a Desperate Measure as well. So those Desperate Measures are going to be featured by the Underworld team and the Stone Valley Sabertusks, and being the tier 3 team that they are, they get secondary for the first game, primary, then secondary for the third game, primary for the fourth game, and another secondary skill going into game 3. So the Ogres, while, you know, tier 3, are going to be packing a Desperate Measure, every person they can find, and a bunch of great skills. And And last but not least is my Khorne team, the Golden Skulls. This is made from 3D prints from Torchlight, and I absolutely love them. I love Khorne in 7s, and this roster here with 3 Bloodseekers, that's 3 Strength 4 Frenzy pieces, is gonna bring the smash. We've got a little bit of dash with 1 Khorne Gore, and 4 Marauder linemen means that when those blocks go wrong, there's gonna be a bench. That is bang on 600 gold pieces for the Golden Skulls. They're tier 2, so primary for the first game, then secondary, then primary, then secondary, then primary. So if they make it to the playoffs, there's 2 double skills on there. So I'm hoping we can get a bit more consistency as the season goes along. Okay, so we've seen the teams. Let's talk a bit about how this season is going to work. Now, while talking through them, I've told you that we've got secondary, primary, secondary, primary. Basically, this is an expansion league, an escalation league. So this is full-on resurrection. Casualties do not count. There will be no murder death, there will be no SPPs, there will be no skill ups in that regard. What we will be doing is giving every team 1 skill before every single game, and it will depend on their tier what access to a skill they can get. So we saw there for the Stones Valley Saber Tusks, they can take a secondary for the first game. Basically it's secondary primary, secondary primary, secondary for tier 3, primary, secondary, primary, secondary, primary for tier 2, and primary, primary, secondary, primary, primary for tier 1. So the better the tier of the team, the less access they're going to get to double skills, basically. Now, we did this in the first series of 7 Super Series, and it worked beautifully, and quite frankly, it's my favorite way to play 7s. You get a little bit of incremental boost with your team. They start developing character, and as the season goes on, they get more and more skills, and it feels like your team is leveling up without having to go through the rigmarole of, can I get the enough SPP? Am I going to do it? Is my guy going to die? Am I going to get Journeyman? No, none of that. This is an escalation league, and it's a great way to get skills on your players and a really great way to try out the teams. So basically, every week we will have a preview for the coming game at the weekend, and during that we'll talk through the coaches, we'll talk through the teams, including what skills they're getting that week. And most importantly of all, we'll talk through the Viewer Championship. That's right, the Viewer Championship is coming back. Now, we'll talk about this in every preview show, but how it's going to work is the preview show will go live every Monday. You will get to pick your winner and the score for both teams, and you will get points for each of those. You will get, it's slightly different this season, you will get 3 points if you choose the right winning team, or if you say it's going to be a draw and it ends up being a draw. And you'll also get a bonus point if you guess a team's score correctly, regardless as to whether the outcome, basically. So if you say the Stone Valley Saber Tusks are going to beat the Loathen Legion 3-2, and actually what happens is they end up beating them 3-1, you get 3 points for getting the right winner correct. You get 1 point because you guessed how many touchdowns one team was going to get. You would get another point, but you got the other team wrong. So it's basically get the scores as right as you can, and at the end of the season, the top X players based on a cut will win some 7 Super Series loot. It's a great fun way to get involved, and I love seeing your guys' guesses, and I love seeing how people believe in the teams. This is 7s as it's meant to be, and we have put a ton of effort into this. Some of the camera work is not as good as I would like it to be, but we are absolutely getting there. Okay. We've looked at how the season's going to play. We've talked about the Viewer Championship. We've looked at the season rosters. We've had a lovely look at the beautifully painted teams by the guys. I think all that's left to do is wait for the preview to go live. Should be tomorrow. We'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more 7s content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube Members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.